Democrats use reconciliation to push this bill through. Joining us now, Richard Socarides, who's a former advisor to President Clinton, and former New York Congressman Tom Reynolds joins us as well. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Richard, let me start with you. Is this really going to happen? Are we going to see this rule change?
Well, it's not a rule change, first of all. We are going to see it happen, and I'm happy we're going to see it happen. I mean, I think the time for the debate is over. The president, you just heard him, said that he was still willing to listen to ideas and still willing to compromise, but compromise takes a coming together of ideas and a willingness to make some adjustments. And if we don't see that from the other side, we're going to see this procedure invoked. It's not a new procedure. It's something that the Republicans have used in the 22 times it's been used before, 17 times it's been pushed by Republicans. So we're going to see it, and finally we're going to have some health care reform in this country one way or another.
What about that point, Congressman Reynolds? This is not without precedent. The Republicans have done it before.
Well, we've never seen 1/6 of our United States economy affected by a reconciliation vote. And that's why it's a non-starter among Republicans if they jam this and ram this through the Senate with reconciliation. Even Democratic senators who have been intricately involved in the health care bill know the consequences of having to pull a trigger like that. And there's no means do we know whether reconciliation produces 50 votes in the Senate or whether Speaker Pelosi can round up the votes of the moderates and the progressives in the House, as they are skeptical whether the Senate will ultimately pass the bill if she makes modifications in the Senate. This is a budget reconciliation provision, and it's now going to be used to deal with 1/6 of our economy. A Fox News poll just this past week made it very clear. The Fox News poll made it very clear that over half the American public wants to start over and begin to take a look at doing incremental changes.
Okay, Congressman, let me let Richard in here.
The Congressman may be filibustering a little bit right now.
Well, go ahead. Because he mentions polls. It seems like there are polls.
It's a great warm-up.
1 second, gentlemen. Richard, it seems like there are polls. Both sides are able to find polls that show that they're doing what they think is the right thing.
Listen, this is a big problem. This is one of the biggest problems we face today in our country. And you know, small bills are made for small problems. This is a big bill, and it affects 1/6 of the economy because it's one of the biggest problems we face. This last election, the election we had, McCain versus Obama, this very much was a referendum on health care. And now you're seeing the president finally deciding this is what he stands for. This is what the last election was about. He's just made a decision that he's going to push this through and let the electorate decide in these midterms if it was the right thing to do. I happen to think it's the right thing to do. The people are tired of the debate. The time to move forward is now.
So, Congressman, what do you think happens? How does the electorate respond if this reconciliation move goes forward and they pull the trigger on it? What do the voters say? We've got midterms coming up in November.
Well, first of all, the polling says 7 in 10 Americans want this to go away. The #1 issue in America is jobs in the economy. That's what the American people want to move forward. They also want to see a type of solution on this where we start over and begin to put together a health bill that can bring about compromise and incremental formulas that will work for the American people.
I would just say on jobs in the economy, this last point, that for small business, unless we get health care reform in this country, and we get it soon, small businesses are going to collapse under the weight.
That's not what the guy in the street's saying.
Well, you know, people may need to be educated about this. We'll pass this
10% unemployed, they're hurting.
We'll see what
they want Congress acting on fixing the economy.
All right.
And Congress will work on fixing the economy, both Democrats and Republicans, once we can get health care through, and we're working on the economy right now also.
Richard Socarides on the left and former Congressman Tom Reynolds on the right. Gentlemen, thank you both.
Thank you.